suck this year.
This is the Baseball Hour with Tony Maz.
Me.
Presented by Bigelow Tea, Jackson Lumber, Blue Moonlight, Wellesley Testosterone, FindMassMoney.com, Gem Plumbing, and by Golf. On Boston's home for sports, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Two swung on and missed. Back to the curveball to get him. Kind of tugging at that back a little bit.
Yeah, don't love seeing that. Kind of over-rotated the way he was out front on that slow curveball a couple times in this at-bat. 72 and then 73 miles an hour. Something's a little tight. Be careful with that. They'll check him out.
Here's Bregman. Fly to center, fly to right, 0 for 2. Red Sox up 5-1. Obviously keeping an eye on Roman Anthony back inside the dugout. He went downstairs. He went down the tunnel.
Well, there you go. That was the news of the week. The injury to Roman Anthony 2 nights ago. Well, let's see. Today's Friday. It was actually 3 nights ago, right? Tuesday night. They played on Wednesday. And I would say the Red Sox have not been the same since. And I know you will find this shocking, or many of you will find this shocking, but we have a full cast of characters here on the Friday edition of the Baseball Hour. Tyler Milliken is alongside. Matt McCarthy is alongside. All we're missing at the moment is you. 617-779-0985, including you, Danny from Quincy, if you want to call again. We'll get to all things Red Sox and certainly assess where they are, where they're going, give McCarthy and Milliken an opportunity to catch up on some of the news of the week. A bullpen game that was lost on Wednesday night came after the Roman Anthony injury the night before. We can go all the way back to the Peyton Tolley debut on Friday. Milliken even wants to talk about the trade of Rafael Devers. He wants to revisit that. And
I'm always ready to complain.
And we'll take whatever else you want to offer as well. Again, 617-779-0985. 21 games to go. The Red Sox are currently behind in the race for the top wildcard spot. I think it's just a game in the loss column, but nonetheless behind. They are behind the Toronto Blue Jays, 3.5 games in the race for the division. The good news is that the Yankees and Blue Jays play one another this weekend while the Red Sox are facing off with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The point being this: if the Red Sox win, and they win a minimum, they can gain a minimum of 2 games on at least one of the opponents and possibly gain 3 on someone or gain 2 on one team and 1 on another. All they have to do is beat the Diamondbacks and they're going to pick up games. So anyway, that is where we'll begin, but I know that Matt McCarthy wants to go back first and foremost to the injury to Roman Anthony. Matt, go.
Yeah, so obviously, Maz, as you mentioned, it's a huge weekend for the Red Sox. 21 games to go. They're going to the playoffs. I'm excited. Of course, I'm excited. I'm as excited as I've been as a Red Sox fan in years. At the same time, though, it's been a rough 48 hours, guys. Like, it has been, really going back 72 to when Roman Anthony got hurt. I've been trying to think about when the last time the Red Sox had such a devastating injury as this. And yes, if they go deep in October, maybe he'll come back. And maybe it's not done just yet. But I think what Roman Anthony has meant to this Red Sox team this year, and more importantly, what Roman Anthony has meant to the fan experience of the Boston Red Sox, cannot be overstated. This injury is as devastating an injury as I can remember having as a Red Sox fan in quite some time. In fact, I've spent the last few days trying to figure out the last time the Red Sox had this impactful an injury heading down the stretch to October. I went back to a couple of things, like maybe Dustin Pedroia in 2010. They did not make the playoffs because Pedroia got hurt, and that was such a devastating injury for them that year. But I really go back to 2008 when Beckett had the oblique, and Lowell was done for the year, and Schilling never really got off the ground, and that team could have won a World Series had they been healthy. I'm not saying this Red Sox team was going to win the World Series, far from it, but without Roman Anthony, it's hard to see them doing the type of damage I thought they were actually capable of doing in October. I thought they were just up there with everybody else in the American League. Maybe they still are because the American League is as down as it's been in a long time. But make no mistake about it, this injury is as devastating to me as a Red Sox fan as I can remember in a long, long time. It sucks. There's no other way to say about it. And the only silver lining to it is the Red Sox have somebody who is that young, that exciting, and that important that he's made me feel as down and depressed as I have in the last couple of days. It has not been a good couple of days to be a Red Sox fan. It sucks. The injury sucks. And it hurts. I'm hurt.
So look, I think we all know what the injury is. I don't believe it's a lost cause, and I think if you get into the postseason, and you can win a round, then you have the chance to get Roman Anthony back. Now, again, I don't know what he's going to be like when he gets here. We'll get to that in a minute. But Tyler, what did you just say a minute ago? You looked up the guy to come back most quickly, or what you found.
Yes.
So far is that the guy who came back most quickly from this injury was who?
It was Austin Meadows back in 2020. I don't know if people remember that name. 8th overall pick in the 2013 draft after the legendary Trey Ball. Red Sox fans, I'm sorry for mentioning that name. But yeah, Austin Meadows in 2020, grade 2 oblique strain on September 18th. He was ready to go by October 5th. I'll tell you this right now, his OPS in the playoffs that year, below 500. So that's what you had working there. And Austin Meadows has had a lot of things go on in his career. And at that point in 2020, he was already cooked as a baseball player. You were not getting the guy you saw in 2019, who was a power threat. I mentioned Manny Ramirez back in 2007 when I was 9 years old and I didn't know what an oblique was. Hand up, I really don't know what an oblique is in 2025. But when Manny Ramirez had the same injury, I remember it was the end of August, I think the 27th, returned for the final homestand for the Red Sox. That was a guy in Manny Ramirez, obviously closer to the other side of his career, someone who wasn't in the same shape that a Roman Anthony was. But you never know how guys are going to respond. I went down the list and I found even some more examples of this year, other guys who have kind of sustained those injuries. And you had Jesse Winker, he had a grade 2 oblique strain the first week of May, made it back right before the All-Star break. Josh Lowe, another young
So he was out 2 months.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Just give me range. When you say he got injured in end of May and All-Star break, I then have to figure it out.
It's okay.
So just tell me how much time they missed.
Perfect. Josh Lowe missed 6 weeks. He got hurt in the first series of the season. 6 weeks after that. That's a young outfielder, an athletic guy, a good ball player. Miguel Andujar.
And how has he played since?
He's been himself. He's been Josh Lowe. He's been a good player.
So
since
full
then.
recovery.
Yes.
Okay.
The other one was Miguel Andujar, who had a grade 2 right oblique strain. He missed roughly 5 weeks, got hurt at the beginning of June, came back July 10th. So those are really some of the comps for this year, but I think it's one of those injuries that, unfortunately, it depends on the guy, it depends on pain tolerance, it depends on how athletic you are, and the issue here, I think, for Roman Anthony, we hear with Willie Abreu right now, he can use the trajectory machine. He can go and hit every day, even though he has a calf problem. Roman Anthony isn't going to swing a bat for probably 10 to 15 days, and for all he knows, the first time he swings a bat, he might have to be like, hey, I still feel something. I got to stop. We saw Tristan Casas. It wasn't the same injury last year. They brought him back. He was visibly flinching every time he connected with the baseball. Those are the stuff, the variables you're going to play with in the postseason when you're hoping for the best.
Okay, so let me ask you both the question then. What can they accomplish without him? What is a realistic goal? Because last night I got into it with a caller who said Roman Anthony has gone down. Mm-hmm. So back off Crochet, back off Bayo, back off Giolito, protect Whitlock, He basically wanted to leave it where it is, just get in as the last wild card, basically throw in the towel on the final 3 weeks of the regular season and go from there. I am not doing that. Now, again, resting the pitchers and managing the pitchers, then that I'm going to do when they need it. I'm not even sure Crochet needs it yet. I'm not 100%. I think that's what's going on. But the Red Sox have the benefit of some of the medical information and strength metrics that they have on players that they can assess during the course of the season. But you tell me, how are you managing it? What's the goal? What do you want to shoot for?
Yeah, I still think it's important to shoot for the first wild card because when you look at the home record...
Why not the division?
I wonder if you're going to be able to get that far. I'm not saying you don't shoot for it and you try everything in your power to continue to do that. I'm just not super confident in it. And the reason I'm not super confident is I think people have kind of forgotten what this offense has been or really what they've done since the All-Star break, where they're 16th in OPS since the All-Star break. They're 17th in weighted runs created plus. For people who don't know that metric, it's essentially something that puts all teams on the same level. So you can take in park factor, all these variables, and it allows you to compare playing at Fenway Park versus playing it somewhere like Seattle.
Okay.
Where it's a very pitcher-friendly environment.
But the bottom line is you're throwing out the division.
I don't think it's likely. I'm willing to try for it, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Matt?
Yeah, so I'm with Milliken. I wonder how realistic the division becomes without Anthony because of the blow it makes to that lineup. That being said, Maz, you asked what can the Red Sox accomplish without Anthony. If they're at home, especially, that 3-game wild card series where theoretically you're going to have Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito going in those 3 games.
Okay, so you
should win. You should win that series.
So you still want to be at home for the playoffs?
Oh God, yes. I think it's massive.
They're a different team. When
They are
they're
a
at
different
home.
team.
We've seen that.
They feed off that crowd. Fenway Park in October is a different environment. Like you're going to have, Seattle or the Yankees come in here. At that. No, they need to be at home. It's critical. I've felt that way for a long, long time. What the Anthony injury does is I thought this team was legitimately capable of winning the pennant. I do not think they can win the pennant without Roman Anthony because that lineup is going to take way too much of a beating. Because they can win 2 close,
okay, but listen, you guys
games.
are going too far ahead. Again, if they get that far, Anthony might be back by then.
Maybe. But what I think the issue here and what we're saying is when Rafael Devers left, we can cite the Red Sox being first in ERA in all of baseball since June 8th. Since the All-Star break, they're second in all of baseball in terms of ERA. When Rafael Devers left, someone replaced him. Someone became one of the best bats in baseball. Roman Anthony led the Red Sox in batting average, OBP, OPS, WRC plus, and F4 since the day he debuted. He was the best player on the Boston Red Sox. You want to go to July 1st? He was a top 10 hitter in the sport in terms of OPS. This is a 21-year-old. So when we talked about, they moved past Rafael Devers, they pitched their asses off. That's what they've done for really 3 months at this point. And someone stepped into the lineup that was able to replace him to some degree. That was Roman Anthony. Now that he's out there, it falls on a couple guys who need to step up. But the biggest one, it's Alex Bregman, who since he came back from the quad injury, and I think we were all so happy and celebrating he was on the field, he's barely hitting since he came back. He's been a league average bat. This is a guy who was 59% better than league average before he got hurt. If you are giving him $40 million and he's supposed to sustain your floor as a baseball team, guess what? It's time. He is the guy who's supposed to show up late in the year. When one of the young bucks goes down, one of the old guys, one of the veterans needs to step up. Trevor Story has stepped the hell up over and over and over again. Okay. Now, if Alex Bregman can't step up, why should I feel that confident in this offense? Because they've been mediocre since the break.
You guys are looking at this all wrong.
Why?
You're looking at this all wrong. Okay, the fact of the matter is that if, let's just say hypothetically, the Yankees win 2 out of 3 this weekend, and you take care of business and beat the Diamondbacks, you just win this weekend. You have Giolito pitching tomorrow. You have Bayo pitching on Sunday. Peyton Tolley goes tonight. You have the starting pitcher. Hold on, Milliken.
I haven't even said anything. I put my hand up.
You were
Let's
about
go.
to.
Come on.
You were about
Spit
to.
it out, Maz.
I can see it. You were about to. Just win this weekend.
Sure, but what happens after this weekend?
Just stop.
What's after this weekend, Maz?
Okay, win this weekend, and then you're effectively in a 3-way tie.
And you're going to
You will have picked up a game on New York if you do that. You will have picked up 2 on Toronto. You still have a series with the Yankees. You still have a series with the Blue Jays. Just start with the weekend.
No, but we're talking. You're asking us to project all the way to October right
no,
here.
No, I'm not
and
asking
there's going to
you.
be 6 games against those teams.
I did not ask you to project on the way to October.
Why can't they win the division?
I said, what do you think they're capable of?
Maz, do they win the division on September 15th, or do they win it on September 28th?
This is the problem. This is the problem people have with baseball. It's a marathon.
Yes.
Until you get to September. It's not October. It's September. In fact, I think it's really August 15th. Live day to day.
Maz, we're running.
At this point of the year, you live day to day.
Maz, we're running right now.
You do.
Me and you, we're running. Maybe people don't think I'm running. I promise I'm running as fast as I can. Unfortunately, I'm 3 miles behind the Blue Jays right now that I need to catch up on. And there's 3 weeks left in the season, 3.5.
Tyler, you're not 3 miles behind the Blue Jays. You're 3 games behind.
3 games. You got to make up those games
here. And you can make up 2 of them this weekend.
And you still got to go play them without the best bat on your team.
So?
That's a massive deal if you're going to be going head-to-head against them.
Then win the games 3-2 and 2-1.
And it's a lot easier to do when Roman Anthony's doing that. And credit to this Red Sox team.
Find a way.
They've won a lot of one-run games in the second half. We've also seen them blow a lot of one-run games overall this year.
Over the short term, you can win without a star player. Over the short term. If you had to do it over 162, it's different. If you told me they were going to play without Roman Anthony for 6 months of the regular season, Matt, I would say they're boned. They can't withstand it for that length of time. But if someone just gets hot, anyone, it can change everything. Play the weekend first. Okay? You're at a stage of the season now where it's just one game at a time. And I know that's a cliche, but at this time of year, it's true. Why do people do this? You've all forgotten how to play in a pennant race.
Jimmy, Mommy and Daddy are yelling again, and I'm scared.
Holy crap. 617-779-0985. Jimmy, this is like talking to my kids. Holy smokes.
Maz, I don't think we're that far away from each other on this conversation. I'm just saying I'm thinking about the next 3 weeks. I'm thinking about it. I'm not worried just about today.
Think about the next 3 days.
I got to think about them all.
Start with that. Because if you have
here tomorrow.
If you have a good weekend, the whole thing will change, and who knows? Maybe the Blue Jays their asses up there get tight. The Blue Jays have a history of choking, don't you know?
Of course.
And the Yankees, you just kick their ass head to head. They're liable to throw the ball all over the place at any minute.
And so are you. And if you blow your load right now, it's not a playoff series. I can't empty the clip in 3 games and say, here we are. That isn't enough to get me there on its own. I have to worry about them playing another bullpen game next week because they didn't go and get an actual starter at the trade deadline. Said they got me Dustin May.
Sorry, I had to cut Tyler off. Tyler, stop talking.
Okay, there you go.
It's more because of what you said that I just had to dump. Remember, it is not Section 10 where anything goes.
Yeah, got to clean it up a little, Tyler. Again, this is live radio. We'll get to your calls when we come back on the Baseball Hour. The Alex Bregman story, we'll get to that as well.
This is the Baseball Hour on the Sports Hub.
John Sewer Drain Cleaning is happy to announce their newest location in Norwood. Now even faster service for your clogged drain emergency.
Garrett's start, finished great, and then you guys come back and win. Does it feel like one of the bigger wins of the year in here?
I don't know. I feel like we're kind of in that September mode right now of where like it's next pitch mentality of just execute the next pitch of the next play of the next game, and obviously losing Roman today is a gut punch. Obviously one of the best players in all of baseball, but we got to continue to push along, and nobody needs to try and do more. No one needs to try and do more than they're capable of. They just need to try and execute their game plan the same way that we've been talking about all year long, and continue to find ways to win, whether it's high-scoring games, pitching and playing good defense, stealing a big base, moving a guy over. We're I think 2.5 back or something, and it's meaningful games in September, and all that matters is winning. So I think the guys in here have the right mentality. Obviously today was a bit of a gut punch for us, but everyone in here is mature enough to know to show up tomorrow ready to execute and compete, and continue to do that for the rest of the month and into the postseason.
To the cut again, I think that Bregman, see, this is why a veteran guy like him is important, because when you get to September and you're in a race like this, and look, it's a common thing. Baseball's a big picture sport. It's played over 162. All the analytics, all the evaluations are made over long samples. Okay, your OPS against lefties is this. Your OPS against righties is this. You hit this in this ballpark. You hit this in that ballpark. You can't play defense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in any given game, anything can happen. And at this time of year, as it's been said a million times, it goes from a marathon to a sprint. So you heard Bregman say there, we're in that September mode. You go pitch to pitch. And I agree. You can still win the division. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Toronto could completely crap their pants. The Yankees might start chucking the ball all over the place again. Maybe they get hot and they run away with the division. I don't know. I'm just telling you that I'm conceding nothing.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are conceding anything, but you asked us what do we expect now coming off the Roman Anthony injury, and my expectation would be without Roman Anthony, I'm not picking them to win the division. I'm not saying it's not possible for them to win the division. Of course it is. They're right in the mix of it. Fluky things happen, weird things happen. You know, you play, a baseball game, every single night, and you've got 21 to go. So you can get hot over the course of a 21-game stretch, even without your best player. Am I asking you, are you saying that's likely to happen? I would say no. I think they're probably going to be a wild card team based on the fact that they lost Roman Anthony. That would be my guess.
Yeah, and I think you go beyond that. It's like you're just kind of looking at the percentages. What are their chances, right? That's what you're asking. Right now to win the division, it's 71% for the Blue Jays, 22% for the Yankees, and 6% for you.
Okay,
I'm not saying
that's too low.
But I'm not saying those numbers are just that. But when we're talking likelihood, that's what we're saying. You take out the best bat on your team, I'm going to say, oh, yeah, the likelihood of you accomplishing that or getting there, it's going to come down a notch for me, especially when you look at the way the offense has operated since the All-Star break.
Okay.
You could go beyond that, though. Their strength of schedule right now for the Red Sox, it's the 7th hardest in baseball for the rest of the year. The Yankees right now, they are all the way at 21. The Blue Jays are one spot ahead of you at 6. So you can talk about it and say, all right, well, the Blue Jays are going to play a slightly harder schedule. You're going to run into the Yankees and Blue Jays. The reality is you have a significantly harder schedule than the Yankees the rest of the way, but you're neck and neck, and it does depend. Who's going to get hot, who's not? For the Yankees, they just had something break their way. Aaron Judge is playing right field tonight. That is massive. Anyone who watched that Red Sox-Yankee series, Stanton pretending to play right field, can't catch a baseball, getting Judge back in right field, that's a big deal for a team.
Yeah,
like
listen,
that.
The other teams are a little ahead of you right now. The Yankees you're basically even with. So, of course, Toronto has a better chance of winning. I would also tell you there are still head-to-head games to be played.
Yep.
So all of this can change. It's not what it is at this instant, of course. So now, but let me just ask you quickly before we get to Danny in San Diego and anyone else, 617-779-0985. We do have a couple of open lines. But, and Milliken, keep your answer succinct. Keep your answer succinct.
I promise.
Okay, the idea of Alex Bregman leaving and going to Detroit or going anywhere, just becoming a free agent, opting out, how alarmed are you, if at all?
I'd call it a 4 out of 10. I think he loves the city. I think he would be willing to give you a little bit of a discount compared to other teams. My problem is I know Craig Breslow didn't want to hand out a 5 or 6 year deal over the last winter. Is he willing to draw the line here? And does he look at someone like Bo Bichette, who teams are going to try to get him to move
forget
off the
Bo
shore?
Bichette. Bregman. Should they fight to keep him?
Yes.
Okay. McCarthy.
Couldn't agree more. He is going to opt out. I think the timing of this is interesting. You remember, Scott Boras coming out right after they traded Rafael Devers, saying, "Hey, he'll sign an extension." Now the Anthony injury happens. All of a sudden, you're hearing about how he's going to opt out. I think the Red Sox will try to keep him. I think they will be willing to overpay for him. I think he's that important to the team. Put it this way: they should overpay for him, and they should extend to 5 years if that is what is needed.
I think Boras is bluffing or leveraging. I don't think Bregman wants to go. And I think if Bregman goes on the open market, I don't think anyone's going to give him 6 years.
Especially with how this year has ended.
Not with that leg injury. That he's already suffered already. Danny in San Diego and Kyle Harrison. Good, Danny.
Hey, boys. How are you? First time, long time. Kyle Harrison, obviously, like the key piece. He came across in the Devers trade. Why have we not used him yet? Why has he not been called up? I keep throwing out Jordan Hicks to get just shelled, and it's just like he's in leverage games. Why can't we just throw Harrison against the wall, see if he sticks? I mean, he has major league experience, not a ton, but decent.
Okay, I got you. Jimmy, could you let him go, please, because I'm locked up. He's online, too. Milliken, I know you had a thought about this as it pertains to the Devers deal, but first answer the question. Why haven't we seen Harrison?
I think he would have pitched potentially on Wednesday if his ankle was in better shape, but the fact that they weren't willing to give it a 50-50 shot is because the secondaries haven't developed. He's still a guy out there mainly working with his fastball, and 22-year-old Peyton Tolley, Kyle Harrison's 24, has developed his secondaries quicker than Kyle Harrison, and they don't believe he can work through a lineup multiple times. That would look different than Walker Buehler or Dustin May because he has control concerns as well.
Kyle Harrison
so he can't even get through 3 innings because he can't command the fastball.
Yeah, you look at AAA, he hasn't gone beyond 5 innings. That continues to be the problem with him because he can't go through a lineup multiple times. You can't do it at AAA, you're not doing it in the bigs.
Wouldn't you take 3 innings right now?
Yeah, I just don't think they think it's much different than what you get out of Dustin May or, a bullpen game.
So to me, there's a bigger story there. Like, I think that the fact that they won't even throw him in the bullpen tells you that something's not right. I know he's going to.
I think they want him to be a starter long term, and they're scared that if they mess too much with this, they're going to completely lose the guy.
Okay, so he still should be the number 5 starter on this team right now, even with the issues and the concerns. You traded. He's the prize of the Rafael Devers trade. He should be there simply because you need 5 starters. Don't go bullpen game on me again. We saw that on Wednesday. And I don't want Dustin May in the rotation for 2 reasons. Number 1, he sucks, so I don't want him there. I'll try something else instead of Dustin May.
Do we need a number 2?
The number 2 reason, and it's going to kind of conflict with number 1, he sucks. Number 2, they're so desperate for a righty in that bullpen. I need to see May in a 1-inning role in the bullpen because they still need to find a second righty. So he's got to go there and see if you can turn him into something in the bullpen. I know he didn't want to be a bullpen arm in Los Angeles. You're here now. Tough. You're not starting because you're not starting a playoff game. Send Harrison out to mop it up every five days, see what you can get, and move May to the bullpen and keep him there and try him in a 1-inning role.
I don't want to see May in any situation of any consequence for the rest of the year. That's how I feel about Dustin May. Oh, we just lost.
They need it.
We just lost John, whom I was going to punch up. So I'll tell you what, let's do this. Matt McCarthy is going to get you caught up on the latest with the Patriots and injury reports as they prepare for their opener on Sunday against the Raiders down in Foxborough. And then we will come back. We will continue to take your calls, and we will get to the gains, wink, wink, the alleged gains or return for Rafael Devers in that trade with the Giants, because it is time to look at it. It's hurting the Red Sox on multiple levels. We'll do that as
Cephas will rip that one to right, and that's a fair ball, and that'll skip up into the seats for a double. Double home run double. Hicks is not missing bats. They've got another man in scoring position.
Everything's up in the zone with the off speed right now. That's never a good sign.
And against the Red Sox tonight, Guardians already have 4 extra base hits. There's his single into center. Cephas into third, and he'll stop him there as the throw comes back in. There's 4 consecutive hits off Hicks.
It's 4 hits in a row, and they've all been hit hard.
And that will be his night.
In the bullpen game the other night, again, now he's on the injured list. So I just want to go over the particulars here of the round. It's a traumatic ERA. PTSD is what Jordan Hicks has.
But he's close though. Keep telling me.
And I'm not, not to make light of that, but you get the idea. He's been completely just drilled every time he gets on the mound.
But people keep telling me Jordan Hicks is close. Watch out for Jordan Hicks. He's going to be Chris Kelly. Joe Kelly come the playoffs. Don't worry, he'll be okay. He'll be there for you.
Okay, so they got 4 guys in the deal. Harrison, who hasn't pitched.
Suck.
Hicks, who's probably not going to pitch again.
Suck.
James Tibbs, first baseman whom they traded to the Dodgers for Dustin May.
Who sucks.
Suck.
Has Tibbs done anything with the Dodgers?
He's
at like 227 with like 6 home runs.
Good start, and he's gone cold the last couple weeks.
So he sucks. And then there's like an A-ball pitcher whose name is Bello.
Jose Bello.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a single
I thought he actually pronounced it Bello, but he pronounces it Bello like Brian Bello.
Yes.
Okay, and has he done anything since they picked him up?
He's been fine. It's a 3.93 ERA. It's single
So that's a no.
Yeah, like he ain't moving yet.
Okay, so that's a no, and he's still young. I mean, that can happen with young pitchers.
20.
But what is your assessment overall of the Devers deal now?
Horrendous. It's still
Did
horrendous.
you feel that way at the time?
Yes, I was sobbing and crying on the airwaves. I'm sorry. I was never going to be okay with the deal that you essentially justify trading Rafael Devers because it was, he wouldn't play first base. That's what pushed you to do it. No, it wasn't. We know that wasn't the case because you were shopping him during spring training. The reality is Chaim Bloom handed out a contract that Craig Breslow deemed underwater. That's why he leaked it to every person in the media, and you saw that wordage. Jeff Passan had it 8 times in his write-up of the entire trade, was the contract was underwater. I'm sorry, Rafael Devers this year has a better OPS plus than Vlad Guerrero Jr. How much did Vlad Guerrero Jr. get a couple months ago? $500 million. Rafael Devers is a top 20 hitter in the sport, and you see right now, you're lucky that your 21-year-old top prospect somehow came up and was a top 10 bat in the sport.
Tyler, it was the salary dump.
Yes, and that's my problem. Don't tell me the dials turn to the present and you're doing all these things to try and win a World Series, but you were willing to ship Devers out at the first opportunity you got because you didn't like the contract. If you truly cared about winning, you deal with a player that, he wore his headphones in the clubhouse and he wasn't talking to everyone. I don't care. He was a top 5 hitter in the sport when he got traded in terms of OPS. Guess what? Your lineup needed him. That's why you've been a mediocre offense since the All-Star break.
Matt?
They'll be better in the long term without Devers. Certainly not in the short term, though, because they're not going to be able to replace his production. And I said this on the air the night he was traded. The return is awful. It's terrible. They prioritize the money over the return, which is the biggest criticism I have of this trade. It's not the fact that they traded Rafael Devers. It's the fact that they willfully got nothing for him. It turns out they got less than nothing because Harrison hasn't done anything. Hicks sucks. Historically sucks. What's worse than suck? Double suck? Triple suck? It does not matter. Ultra suck. That guy is the worst pitcher I've ever seen. He blows. Not only is the worst pitcher I've ever seen, he is offensive. There's nothing more offensive than a guy who throws 100 and has no idea where it's going. Except the guy who throws 100 has no idea where it's going, and when it's actually in the zone, it's so crappy that guys tee off on it. How is that possible? How do you throw 101 and guys are all over you? Because it's the straightest crap you've ever seen from a pitcher ever. He's the worst. Nobody offends me more than Jordan Hicks. He should be DFA'd. They shouldn't even bother with him anymore.
Yeah,
But you know what?
It's thigh high and in the middle of the plate. Just quickly, because I think I said this to you before, Tyler. He reminds me of Hansel Robles.
Yes.
Like Hansel Robles, you watch the stuff and this guy throws bullets, but he got hit hard. And because everything was middle of the plate, thigh high, and if you do that, big leaguers are going to hit it. But help me out with a little exercise here, okay? And I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. In terms of additions to the pitching staff that they have made in season, in season. So I'm not talking about Garrett Crochet and Aroldis Chapman. Okay, I'm talking about Harrison, Hicks, Dustin May, Steven Matz. Who else? Is there anyone else that I'm missing?
Are you including like waiver claims? You had Alcala here for a short period. You traded for him.
Okay. So I'll take anybody you can give me that was picked up in season. Have they picked up anyone who's helped?
No, it's a good point.
Anyone.
It's a good point.
All of the in-season guys.
I think Matz has been decent. I don't think he's bad.
I would say
solid.
Okay. He's been okay. He helped them certainly win one of those games where he pitched the seventh inning. Was it a Yankee game?
Yeah.
He pitched the seventh inning, and then they give the ball to Whitlock in the eighth, I think.
Yeah, so far here, it's a 180 ERA in 15 innings.
Yeah,
okay,
Matz has been pretty good.
He's been, I would say, okay. I mean, I think the numbers are a little inflated. In high leverage situations, he's kind of been, I'd say, 50-50. So the other times you're pitching them when you're behind or they're not high leverage or what have you, Matz has been okay. But is there a single guy that they added to the staff, whether it's a starter or a reliever, anyone that has made their pitching staff better?
No, Maz, it's a fair criticism because they had themselves a good offseason, right? They had a really good offseason, but you need to be able to build on that. And I have defended Breslow, against some of the criticisms he's gotten this year because I look at what he did this past offseason and I said that's really good. The in-season stuff has not been good enough. The trading deadline was not good enough. Getting nothing for Devers in return was more of an ownership thing, but you do still put that on him in some way, shape, or form. Essentially, what the Red Sox have relied on this year is we're going to have kids come up from the minor leagues and they're going to help our team. And Roman Anthony did, and then he got hurt. And
it looks like Peyton Tolley might.
And certainly. And he looks like a stud. But let's sign of trouble.
Right. Let's stick to the pitching staff for the moment.
Yeah. Dobbins came up and gave you a good amount before he went down, too.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so they clearly relied only on internal help. But I look, when you are a team that's vying for a playoff spot,
it has to be both.
Shouldn't you be adding some pitching from the outside,
Yep.
especially when you have the trading deadline? The waiver claims I get. Like, I sort of look at that whole thing and say, with the waiver claims, you're taking someone else's garbage.
It's a crapshoot.
But you made 2 trades at the trade deadline, and again, we can debate Matz. Dustin May blows.
Awful.
Okay? He stinks. He's terrified on the mound. You can't put him in a big spot. I think Hicks is similar. Hicks and Harrison were supposed to be guys that they thought they could get something out of. They've gotten nothing out of either one of those guys. So to me, it feels like in terms of in-season moves, with veteran help, 0. Zip. None. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I don't disagree. Like, you can go back a couple years ago when you got like a Brennan Bernardino or the Hansel Robles at the 2021 trade deadline, however you want to frame it. But where you are right now, even if you could have found a Nathaniel Lowe, they lucked out. Imagine if you didn't get Nathaniel Lowe the way you did.
Yep.
He's been he's come up, he's hit over 300 and had how many clutch RBIs and hits for them?
I'd bat him third, by the way.
I'd play him every day, and they're still not quite at that point. But that's the kind of stuff I would lean on. But even if you look at a team like the Mets with Nolan McLean and Jonah Tong, you have Peyton Tolley, which is awesome. The Mets are bringing up 2 arms. You really don't have those kind of bullets. Even David Sandlin in AAA, who they moved to the bullpen the day after the trade deadline, he's blowing up trying to move to the bullpen, and now they're caught in between.
Okay, so let's do this. We'll take a couple of calls when we come back, and we'll wrap it up. But I do have to do this first. It's our truck giveaway, McGovern Ford F-150, and the username that we are, Jimmy, how are we saying this? We are picking usernames, or by lottery we've picked usernames?
Yes.
And so today's candidate, potential winner, is Reali23, and that's REALI 23. That's the Instagram username, REALI 23. I'm going to call that Reali 23. You now have 985 seconds. That's 16 minutes and 25 seconds to call us back on the contest line, which is 617-931-0985, and you will qualify to win a 2025 F-150 from McGovern Automotive Group and 98.5 The Sports Hub. But you have to call in the next 16 minutes and 25 seconds, and I've already used some of that. So again, Reali 23, REALI 23, for your chance to win the Ford F-150 2025 from the McGovern Automotive Group. Boy, this has been smooth, McCarthy, hasn't it?
It's actually better than I did 2 weeks ago, Maz. Don't
At least
worry
you
about
can
it.
read, man.
This has been smooth. But anyway, Reale 23, you're on the clock.
You're listening to the Big.
Baseball hour
Oh, I'm here for it.
to make sure everybody gets heard. Except for Milliken, maybe sometimes because he goes on so long.
Yeah, we could shut him down a little bit.
though.
No, Milliken, I want you to be heard too. I just want you to understand there's a limit.
I guess it's not Twitter. There's no character limit here.
So no, but there's a time limit.
There's a time limit.
It's sort of a character limit. But I also feel this way about the callers. I try to get in as many callers as possible. So John in a car has been waiting patiently. John, what do you got?
Tony, real quick on Devers. I didn't want him after he didn't want to move from third base with Bregman coming to the team. If you can't tell that he's a much better defensive player, then clearly you're just in it for yourself, and it kind of blows in the face of all the help the team stuff he had the 1, 2, 3 years before when he was asking for help at the trade deadline. But whether you wanted him here or not, the problem I have is it's constantly a reactionary thing with this team. They signed Devers because at the Winter Classic, John Henry got booed uncontrollably by the masses, A, because he bought the Penguins, but more important, because of what he was doing with his baseball team. He was treating it like a bargain shopping basement. So you look at it as a salary dump, and you parlay that with the fact that nobody of worth as a general manager wants to work here because they'd rather get a pizza box stuffed up their rectum. You put it all together, and you long for the days of a Lou Gorman that just knows how to run a baseball team. And that's all I want, is a general manager that's allowed to do his job and not constantly have to check in with the owner, no matter how petty the move is.
Okay, John, I got you. I will also tell you that Lou Gorman, everyone loved Lou Gorman. Okay, we're going back 50 years now, for crying out loud, or 40.
I love the guy.
Anyway, but let me just tell you, Lou Gorman never won a World Series here. And part of the reason he never won is because that ownership group wouldn't spend on the team at all. So this is one of those that I struggle with, admittedly. I hear people bitch about ownership, and I say, most of you have no idea. Like, with all due respect, McCarthy, you said you were 34, so you were like 12 when these guys bought the team.
It's a million times better than the
Milliken, how old are you?
27.
Okay, so you were like in diapers. You might still be, for all I know.
All right.
But you were in diapers. You have no idea what it used to be like. None. So, like, part of me sort of says, take the money. Trust me, you need the money. Even if they're not necessarily signing the blockbuster contracts, take the money.
Even this year, you are $10 million over the luxury tax right now.
Right.
We bitched about that for years. It's not top 3. I understand. You're not the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets. You should be. But I'll take top 7 over what they were a year ago, which was right outside the top 10.
Ownership seems far more engaged this year than they have been in years past, and I do think some of the criticism is about a year or two old on ownership. The Devers thing we should criticize them for, no doubt about it. John Henry also, there's been this whole thing that John Henry doesn't care about the Red Sox, doesn't want to spend on the Red Sox. You do realize he got on a flight to Kansas City to go and try and get Rafael Devers on the same page. And that obviously didn't go well, and things got personal. So then he didn't want to pay the guy that offended him personally. I'm not saying that's good business. It was bad business. Bad business decisions made by the Boston Red Sox. But don't tell me that ownership isn't involved or engaged, and frankly, hasn't spent money on this team either. That's a criticism from 3 years ago, not now.
They don't like the mega deals. Okay, they don't like the mega deals. Honestly, they never have. They inherited Manny Ramirez, and then they signed Crawford and regretted it. They signed Adrian Gonzalez, and they regretted it. They signed David Price, and they regretted it. And they signed Devers, and they regretted it.
That should be the Bregman fear, though, going in here, where you're going to have to convince John Henry to pay him through his age 37 season.
Okay, my point is do it anyway.
I agree. You're going to have Story and Yoshida off the books in 2 years, and then you have this young core. You can eat a contract that won't be great for 2 years at the end.
They have the financial power that most teams don't. Use it. Yes, you're going to lose. You're going to have some dead money.
Problem is that when, after next season the CBA goes up, one of the guys pushing for the salary cap will be John Henry, which weakens the Red Sox and what an organization
I guarantee you they'll
do.
be pushing for a salary cap. They won't get it, though. I don't think the union's ever going to get it.
We won't be seeing baseball that year if they try.
Anyway, gentlemen, enjoy the weekend.
I plan on it.
When we come back on Monday, not that I'll see both of you on Monday, but by then, who knows? And you might have a completely different perspective on what to do with the Red Sox.
Don't worry, Maz. We won't.
So,
you're not hearing us, Maz.
Again, you two. Which just occurred to me now, Jimmy, which is kind of alarming. But anyway,
now we're
I
young
still
and
like
dumb.
you both. Have a good weekend.
The Baseball Hour tonight is brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety.
Okay,